Through this journey, I had an opportunity to go to the Dominican Republic and meet my father for the first time. We sat in a restaurant. Every time a woman walked in, he'd be like, "That's your sister." He was so generous, he gave us each our own mothers. He was like, "Oakley, you get a mother, you get a mother."
Oh, that was a look at Fighting Words, a comedy special from Aida Rodriguez, streaming now on HBO Max. Off the stage, you can also find Aida acting, writing, and directing. She's doing it all and working with some of Hollywood's biggest stars.
And now she's bringing her Don't At Me stand-up tour to Houston for a special one-night-only show. Ladies and gentlemen, Aida Rodriguez is in the house.
Hi.
Welcome to Houston Life.
Hi, how are you?
Well, we're better now that you're here. You have such an incredible backstory. I have a million questions for you, so let's try to do this like lightning round. You talk about traveling to meet your estranged father for the first time. What a gift that you can take sort of a terrible situation and make it hilarious. And that really is what your comedy is based on, your real life.
Yeah, trying to normalize, you know, situations that a lot of people experience and feel shame and guilt about. And I was like, you know, I'm adjusted. I mean, I'm in therapy, but I'm doing okay. So I was like, I want to show those little girls or young women, even people that are older, that they're not the only ones who have an estranged parent, that it is a process, and that it's okay to feel whatever way you feel. So I decided to do that. I also wanted to show people how we mind our jokes, how you see an experience and how it becomes something with a punchline, because sometimes it's easier to deal with through laughter than it is to cry.
Oh, amen.
Right,
Amen.
right. And you got a lot of attention after you were featured on Netflix's You Ready?
They ready.
They ready, they ready. Talk about they ready, you ready. We
It's
all
a
ready.
mess, girl. We got every time I have to remind myself, because I hear Tiffany's voice when somebody says, because people will say she ready, and that's the name of her special. It's a lot of readies.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you know, I was the only Latina on the show, and I was very excited about that because, you know, my comedy isn't what people expect it to be a lot of times. My comedy can be very dry. It can be, you know, very confrontational. It deals with the uncomfortable. And I was able to tell a story that a lot of people hadn't seen but could identify with. So that was a very fun experience for me because I was also rocking out with some of my closest comedy friends. And, you know, there was April Macy and Shantae Wayans, and of course Tiffany Haddish, who was at the captain of the ship. So that was a real fun experience.
And it's sort of a critical experience for your career because Latinos are totally underrepresented in the comedy space.
Thank you.
Tiffany Haddish happens to be a friend of Aida's. Y'all have known each other since before you were famous, and you essentially made a pact that when one person did well, they'd try to help the other. And she executive produced along with Wanda Sykes this project that really kind of gave you your big boost.
Yeah, it was awesome. And, you know, with Wanda Sykes, I had done Last Comic Standing, and Wanda was the executive producer of that show who put me on Last Comic Standing on NBC. So it was like a full circle moment for her to be able to come back and produce my first half-hour special that was on Netflix. Yeah, it was great. And thank you for saying that because, you know, when we talk about marginalized groups, Latinas are underrepresented in a lot of areas, and comedy is certainly one of them. There are like 5 of us who headline. It's like Angela Johnson, Christella,
George Lopez.
And that's the one that people can think about, just one.
Yeah, because he broke the ceiling.
Right.
But in terms of women, it's like there are very few of us.
Not enough for sure.
And talk about your HBO Max special as well. Fighting Words premiered 2021.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Great. It's been really, that really resonated with a lot of people, and not just Latinos, but people of every walk of life, every culture. That was, you know, I was being driven by a man taking me to the airport, my driver, who was like an Irishman, and he was like, I watched your special and I went and looked for my dad and I found him. And that, I was like, wow, you know, it was something that he was like, I identify with, not wanting to find that part of me. So the special was really hard because I did it during COVID. While I was shooting my special, there was Hurricane Henry happening in the Bronx, the most rainfall ever in the history of the Bronx. And then a week later, Hurricane Ida happened in the Bronx. So
Aida.
And listen, adversity, there ain't nothing can stop you, Ida, because we are tight on time. You survived 2 kidnappings, sexual abuse, saw domestic violence in your home as a child, and when you were homeless, you turned to comedy because you say it was cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, it was cheaper than therapy. It was cathartic. It was a hobby. It was not something I thought would ever turn into a career. I had a day job. Like when you say you're homeless and people are like, how dare you just do comedy? You had kids. I actually had a full-time job and I would do comedy. I would just sleep 3 hours a night. But never did I in my wildest dreams imagine that it would become, you know, the gateway to my economic freedom, to create opportunities for my children that I never thought they would be able to have. I have a valedictorian college graduate that graduated with honors, and I have another film school director, graduate kid. Like, we had some, you know, some blessings, so I don't take it for granted.
Aida Rodriguez, you are a superstar tonight at the Improv. Tickets are still available. Doors open at 6:30 p.m., show at 8 p.m. Visit HoustonLife.tv for more info. We'll be right back.